वालेकुम सलाम। एड मैथ्स के पास पेपर्स एड मैथ्स के पास पेपर्स देखो, मैं आज इंस्टाग्राम पे एक पोल डालूंगा कि व्हाट शुड आई डू डिफिकल्ट टॉपिक्स और शुड आई डू ईयरली पास पेपर्स, तो यू गाइस कैन आंसर एंड लेट मी नो। लेट्स सी व्हाट कम्स आउट ऑन टॉप। सर, आर यू आर फ्रॉम कराची? यस, आई एम फ्रॉम कराची। कॉन्ग्रुएंसी के 5 स्टेटमेंट्स, ये सवाल आई थिंक आपने एडवांस में ही पूछा था। कॉन्ग्रुएंसी के 5 स्टेटमेंट्स बहुत मुश्किल है वैसे। क्या 5 स्टेटमेंट्स इधर आते हैं? कराची का वेदर कैसा है आजकल? वेल, इट्स अनबेरेबली हॉट। सर, आप निक्सर में ए लेवल्स को पढ़ाते हैं? नहीं, आई टीच एट निक्सर ओ लेवल्स। वेक्टर्स के डिफिकल्ट क्वेश्चंस भी करा दें, बट अभी तो ट्रिग्नोमेट्री करेंगे, ठीक है? वी विल हैव टू डू इट स्टेप बाय स्टेप. Sir, I think graphs of questions are most confusing. They usually come in paper 2. Yes, I do have a question. I do have a stream of graphs of functions lined up. किसने बोला ये? Lina. We will do graphs of functions also. Sir, क्या आपके टूथपेस्ट में नमक है? पता नहीं मुझे यार. Sir, ये PewDiePie वाली कुर्सी है. I don't know. I haven't paid too much attention to his chair. Sir, can you please explain how to explain similarity and congruence for shapes in circle? Okay. देखो, आप लोगों ने मेरी जो टॉपिक्स में स्ट्रीम करूँ, आपने हो सकता है उसमें कोई पैटर्न ऑब्जर्व किया हो कि आई एम स्ट्रीमिंग द टॉपिक्स दैट कैरी द मोस्ट मार्क्स. ओके, ट्रिग्नोमेट्री, मेंसुरेशन, सही है, और अभी ग्राफ्स ऑफ फंक्शंस. ओके, सो मेरा आप लोगों को भी यही मशवरा है कि आप उन टॉपिक्स पे फोकस करें. आई एम नॉट सेइंग कि निगलेक्ट ऑल द अदर टॉपिक्स, बट आई एम जस्ट सेइंग कि फोकस ऑन द टॉपिक्स दैट कैरी द मोस्ट मार्क्स. ओके, देयर आर 4 to 5 मेन टॉपिक्स आपका. There is trigonometry, there is statistics, there is graphs of functions, there is algebra, there is what else? Quadratic equations that lead, word problems that lead to quadratic equations. ये आपके सारे important हैं. Yes, bearing भी जो आएगा along the way, we'll do that also. Don't worry. Sir, Netflix पर seasons देखते हैं आप? Yeah, occasionally I do that. वालेकुम सलाम ज़हरान. Thank you. या नेक्स्ट स्ट्रीम इंशाल्लाह हम ग्राफ्स ऑफ फंक्शंस की करेंगे, ठीक है? Basil, I think you asked me this before also, but it depends on you entirely. सारे teachers अच्छे हैं. If there's a teacher who's teaching at Nixer, that means they must be really good. That's why they're there. So, you know, it's best to ask your friends, or if you have people, I mean, if you know someone at Nixer, ask them. उसके बावजूद भी ज़रूरी नहीं है what they say is true. It depends on you entirely, ठीक है? सर, कसम से आपसे ज़्यादा कूल मैथ का टीचर नहीं देखा आज तक. ओह, थैंक यू हमदान, अप्रिशिएट दैट. सर, एड मैथ्स का फॉर्मूला क्या मैथ? नहीं, प्लीज़ डोंट यूज़ एनी एड मैथ फॉर्मूलाज इन मैथ. ओके, यू कैन यूज़ मैथ फॉर्मूलाज इन एड मैथ्स, बट नो एड मैथ फॉर्मूलाज इन मैथ्स. ओके सर, दोनों कंपोनेंट में ए हो तो कन्फर्म ए स्टार होता है. वेल, इफ़ यू हैव अ हाई ए, then of course you're eligible to get an A star. But if you have an A that's like, you know, right on the border, then it's difficult. Start करें? चलें, let's start. Okay, so gonna turn my phone off. जैसे आप लोगों के लिए डिस्ट्रैक्टिंग होता है इस तरह मेरे लिए भी डिस्ट्रैक्टिंग होता है. फ़ोन ऑन रखना, ठीक है, फ़ोन ऑफ. ओके, सो आज का एजेंडा क्या है? टुडेज़ एजेंडा एज वी नो, IGCSE Maths paper B, paper 1 was really very difficult. Students couldn't complete. Okay. Well, if the paper was difficult for everyone, then it's likely that the threshold is going to be low. So you don't have to worry about that. Literally never seen a teacher who teaches math such great to make an interest. Thank you, Muntaha. Happy to do it. Thank you so much. Yeah. So basically, what we're going to be doing now. So I'm starting now, boys and girls. Okay. So what we're doing today is trigonometry, as you probably must have read from the title of this stream. Okay, and we're going to be doing all the paper 2 questions, of course, of trigonometry, and along trigonometry we'll probably come across a bit of mensuration, but I'm not going to focus too much on that. But the reason why mensuration is going to come in between is because मैं probably कोई trigonometry का part होगा which I'd like to solve, ठीक है, which is why we'll have to sort of solve that also, ठीक है. But along with that, we'll come across bearing, we'll come across angle of elevation, depression, and all of that, ठीक है. So वो सब करेंगे. Sir, आप maths P1 का standard form question कर सकते हैं. I don't remember the exact question, so and it's best that I don't solve that question. Probably the ones who got it wrong they'll probably be upset. Okay, so let's just leave it there. Okay, whatever has happened has happened. Okay, even if I do solve it, it's not going to change anything. Okay, so starting now, let's get to work. Okay, so basically this is a question from October-November 2021, paper 2, variant 2. So it's the latest question. So yeah, let's see what it says. It says ABCD is a field on horizontal ground. So maybe the question is we use this word horizontal because later on, there's going to be some vertical object or something like that. We'll see. Okay, the bearing of B from A is 70 degrees. So notice how that's not marked in the question. So we'll probably have to read the statement and then mark it ourselves. So I'm going to do that. So this is 70 degrees. Okay. The bearing of D from A is 125. So this bearing is 125. Okay. So if this is 125, we can immediately find out the angle over here, and that's going to be 125 minus 70, 55. But chalo, just to be on the safe side, calculator use kar lete hain. 55 degrees. Okay. Okay. Sir, bearing P1 में आई थी, दोबारा आ सकती है? या बिल्कुल, मे बी नॉट बेयरिंग, तो ट्रिग्नोमेट्री तो आ ही सकती है. ठीक है. अच्छा, C is due south of B. Okay, we can see कि C बिल्कुल B के नीचे है. Okay, and D is due east of D. ठीक है. So C जो है वो D के right hand side पे. ठीक है, perfect. Okay, and we're given the lengths. Okay, those are already marked on the diagram. That's fairly simple. Calculate the bearing of D from B. Also have a look at the marks. So it's a 4-mark question. That means there's probably some sine, if not sine, then cosine rule that we're going to have to use. Okay, so always look at the marks before you start. Yes, some topics can be repeated. Topics that are sort of all over the place, like statistics ho gaya, graphs of functions ho gaya, these topics can be repeated. So yeah. Okay, so I'm just gonna erase all this, not all of it, but like part of it. Okay, so this is 70 degrees, keep that in mind, and this is 55 degrees. Okay. Now the bearing of D from B, let's do some planning first before we find out the actual bearing, the bearing of D from B. So the bearing of D from B basically means that I'm going to make a north at B. Okay, so here's my north at B. Okay. And what we have to find out is basically this angle. Okay, this is the angle that we have to find out. And if somehow I'm able to find out what this angle is, so that will be my bearing. Okay. Achha. अब ये angle directly कैसे निकालेंगे? I don't think there's a way to find this angle directly, but there has to be a workaround. Okay. Now, what if we highlight this? Then we end up learning something. Okay, we end up learning that this angle that we're looking at is going to be 70 degrees. Why is it going to be 70 degrees? Because of alternating angles. Walaikum salam. Okay, so because of alternating angles, this angle is going to be 70 degrees. So if somehow, don't know how yet, but if somehow we're able to find out what this angle is, okay, then we will be able to find out what the bearing is. Okay, so let's see. Now I'm going to focus on the angle that I've marked in green. Okay, my entire focus right now is going to be on the angle that I've marked in green. Okay, so stay with me. So इसके लिए we can use sine rule. Okay, so sine b upon 290 is equals to sine 55. Okay, so basically we have an angle, we don't have an angle but we know the length opposite to it, and we have another angle and the length opposite to it, so that means I can use sine rule very easily. Okay, so this is going to be equal to sine 55 over 350. Acha, just a benefit for you guys, I'll upload these notes for you guys, and these notes actually contain some important concepts also, sine rule, cosine rule, Pythagoras theorem and all of that. Okay, so you can use these notes for your revision also. Okay, and you'll find this once we're done with the stream in the description. Okay, so let's use our calculator. Add math students, please make sure your calculator, in fact not just add math students, everyone, make sure that you guys reset your calculator before you start. So sine 55 divided by 350 into 290. So I'm looking at sine b is equals to 0.6787 something. Okay, so now in order to find out b, you'll do sine inverse of the answer. Okay, please use the answer key, do not try and find out the sine inverse and just end up picking like 2 decimal places from the value. Okay, so make sure to use this answer key. So sine inverse of the answer, so now I'm looking at 42.7. okay, 42.7. Okay, now here's the thing. Achha, for those of you who have asked me how did I get 70, okay, 70 मैंने ऐसे निकाला कि, look at the part that I've highlighted. Okay, carefully look at the part that I've highlighted. So if this is 70, that means, isn't this alternating angles? Because this is a north and this is also a north. These two are vertical lines. Okay, so if this is 70, that means this is also 70. Thank you, Khizr. Appreciate that. Okay, so what have we figured out so far? So now I'm just gonna erase this mess. Okay, just so that it's easy for us to keep track of what's going on. And a word of advice, whenever you guys sort of doodle on your diagram, make sure that you do it in pencil so that you can always erase it later on. Okay, so we've worked out this angle to be 42.7. Okay, 42.7 degrees. That means I can work out this angle by simply subtracting 42.7 from 70. So 70 minus 42.7. So we're looking at 27.3. Okay, now we're almost there. Almost there in the sense we're almost there, and we have the bearing. Now in order to work out the bearing, I'll do that in red. We'll start from the north at B. Okay, so this part will be 180. Okay, and then we need to go another 27.3 degrees. So that means the bearing is going to be 180 plus 27.3 degrees. Okay, and what are we looking at? We're looking at 207.3 degrees. There you go. Acha, just so we're clear, make sure that you mention in the question that angle ABC is equals to 70 degrees because of alternating. Okay, angle ABC is equals to 70 degrees, and make sure that you mention it, that you figured that out because of alternating angles. Okay, this is from May-June 2021, paper 2, variant 2. Okay, so there you go, that's your answer. Please remember, any angle there is, notice how this is 4 significant figures, but any angle there is, we are going to give it correct to 1 decimal place. Yes, you're right, I do need mods, but kya kare? Anyone who would voluntarily become a mod for this stream, I'd appreciate that. Okay. No, I don't have any moderator for my channel yet. Okay. So how did I do the first step? Okay. So Hussein, I'm making you a moderator. All right. And who else? So Umair, आपको बना देता हूँ, चलो. ठीक है. So please, if you guys see any spammers, you guys know what to do. Okay. Acha, so basically, what first step, beta? What first step? Please जरा narrow down करो. ठीक है. After CIEs, we all need to throw a party for this. Yeah, you know, I really like that. Okay. I mean, I'd like to meet you guys in person. So what about solving yearly past papers? We'll let's leave that for later. Maybe last 2 days, I'll solve yearly past papers. Okay. Anyway, here's part B. Yes, bearing हमेशा 3 digit में लिखते हैं. I know why maybe why you're asking me is because it's related to paper 1. वो क्या था 073 को I think कुछ students ने मुझे message करके बोला था कि उन्होंने 73 लिख दिया or something like that. So if you've done that in the exam, I really don't know कि उसमें examiner आपको mark काटेगा नहीं काटेगा. अच्छा, why did I do 180 plus? Because देखो हमने start कहाँ से किया? We started from the north at B. Okay, started from the north at B, went in a clockwise direction, and that is why we did 180 plus 274. 180 plus 27.3. Okay, this is 180. Okay, sir, party and next sir. Okay. Anyway, so we're not done with the question. Let's done with the question. फिर देखते हैं आगे. अब देखो, अब here's part B. Notice, see, it's a 5-mark question. Okay, a vertical mast is positioned at D. The angle of elevation of the top of the mast from A is 10 degrees. Calculate the angle of elevation of the top of the mast from C. Okay, now pay close attention to this. अब एक काम करते हैं. Let's clear this mess. Let's take a screenshot of this. Let's undo so all the mess is back, and let's paste it over here. ठीक है. अच्छा भाई देखो. So basically अब ये question ना ज़रा 2 parts में होगा. ठीक है, कैसे होगा 2 parts में मैं आपको बताता हूँ. ठीक है. So it says a vertical mast is positioned at D. ठीक है. The angle of elevation of the top of the mast from A is 10 degrees. So that means D पे आपका एक vertical mast है. ठीक है. अब you know what we're doing now? We're converting this from 2D to 3D. Okay. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna make a horizontal line. ठीक है. And this line is representing what? This line is representing AD. ठीक है. Now at D there's a vertical mast right over here, okay, and we know what length AD is, right? We know that length AD is 290, okay. And according to the question, the angle of elevation of the top of the mast from C, अच्छा ये जो मैं ज़रा green से highlight करने लगा हूँ ना, this is the mast, okay. This right here is the mast, ठीक है. अच्छा, and according to the question, the angle of elevation of the top of the mast from A is 10 degrees. So that means this angle is 10 degrees. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to find out the length of the mast. Okay. Now this angle has to be 90 degrees. Why? Because you have a vertical object on a horizontal ground. Okay. So this right here is the opposite length. Okay. And this right here is the adjacent length. So what trigonometric ratio are we going to use? We're going to use tan. So tan of 10 is equals to the length of the mast upon 290. So let's work this out. Tan 10 into 290. So what do we get? We have the length of the mast, which is equal to 51.1 meters. Okay. Okay. Now 51.1 meters is the length of the mast. Okay. Now notice what is the next thing that the question is asking you is calculate the angle of elevation of the top of the mast from C. So that means now we have to make another triangle. और वो ट्रायंगल कैसे बनेगा ज़रा गौर से देखना. अगेन डी पे वर्टिकल मास्ट है. ठीक है. नाउ दिस लेंथ दैट यू आर लुकिंग एट इज DC. ठीक है. दिस लेंथ दैट यू आर लुकिंग एट इज DC. सो आई एम गोना स्विच टू रेड. दिस इज D, दिस इज C, एंड दिस इज द मास्ट अगेन, जिसकी लेंथ हमारे पास है 51 पॉइंट. अच्छा, बाय द वे, सिंस इट्स नॉट द फाइनल आंसर, सो वी गोना टेक इट एज 51.13. ओके. सो 90 डिग्री ओवर हियर, hypotenuse over here. ठीक है. DC कितना है हमारे पास नहीं पता. सही है. So इसके लिए हमें क्या करना पड़ेगा? We'll have to first find out the length of DC. उसके लिए हम क्या करेंगे? उसके लिए remember we worked out this angle. How much did we work out this angle to be? This angle turned out to be 27.3. Okay. So this angle was 27.3 degrees. Okay. Now how are we going to find out DC? DC is the opposite length and 350 is the hypotenuse length. So what are we going to use? We're going to use sine. So sine of 27.3 is equals to DC upon 350. Let's cross multiply ताकि हमारे पास DC आ जाए. So sine of 27.3 bracket close into 350. So we're looking at 160.52. Again, not the final answer, so we're not going to round it off. Okay, so this length is 160.527 actually. So 527 कर लेते हैं. Okay, so we're almost there. Don't lose track. This is the angle that we want. We have the opposite length. We have the adjacent length. क्या करेंगे? We're going to use tan. So tan of theta, इसको theta बोल देते हैं, is equals to opposite, which is 51.13 upon adjacent, which is 160.52. So let's see what theta is equals to. Tan inverse of 51.13 divided by 160.52, bracket close, and there you go. हमारे पास angle आ गया, which is 17.68, so we'll have to lock it at 17.7 degrees, and that is the correct answer. Okay, let's see, are we all... Okay, so isn't C 90 degrees? अच्छा, no, C is in 90 degrees. So basically यहाँ पे हो ये रहा है, just to give you guys a quick recap, यहाँ पे हो ये रहा है कि आपके पास D पे ना एक vertical object है, ठीक है. Now you can't see it like this, ठीक है. Now इसके लिए ना आपकी visualization skills on point होनी चाहिए, ठीक है. Visualization skills on point कैसी होनी चाहिए? देखो, so basically this is a horizontal ground, okay. This is a horizontal ground, and what do we have on D? On D we have a vertical object. So if let's say कि ये आपका एक horizontal ground है, ठीक है. I hope you guys can see my palm, ठीक है. इस पे if you have a vertical object, so whatever point you have on horizontal ground, ठीक है, and उस पे अगर आप एक triangle बनाओगे तो उस point पे क्या बनेगा? उस point पे 90 degree बनेगा, ठीक है. And that is why देखो जब हमने D पे mast रखा, ठीक है, तो AD अब यहाँ पे एक mast खड़ा है, तो you can see कि ये एक 90 degree angle बन रहा है, ठीक है. And similarly CD, D पे एक mast लगा है, so you can see कि यहाँ पे भी एक 90 degree angle बन रहा है, ठीक है. So that is why your visualization skills need to be really on point over here, ठीक है. And there you go. Formulas given होते हैं mensuration के. ईमान मैंने कल जो मैंने stream की थी उसकी description में जाओ, उसकी description में you'll find a formula sheet. उस formula sheet में लिखा हुआ है कि कौन से formulas given है, कौन से formulas नहीं given, ठीक है. मतलब कौन से formulas given है ये लिखा हुआ है. That means everything else is something that you need to memorize, okay. Okay, that was one question. एक question में देखो हमें कितना time लगा, ठीक है. And especially a word of advice for you guys, especially when you have like a 5-mark question and a 4-mark question, तो please do not even, भले examination hall में कुछ भी चल रहा हो, ठीक है, आपने paper से नज़र नहीं उठानी, ठीक है. Because if you lose track of what's going on, then you'll have to start from the beginning. Well, maybe not necessarily start from the beginning, but you'll have to sort of take a few steps back and sort of understand what's going on before you can get to the final answer. Okay, so it doesn't matter what's going on in the examination hall, your eyes need to be fixated on your question paper, okay. Okay, let's do this another question. This is a question from October-November 2021, paper 2, variant 1. Now, a lot of times you'll find some filler parts जिसमें आपका कभी speed से related कोई question आ जाएगा, कभी time से related कोई question आ जाएगा, ठीक है. So this is a good example for that. Okay, so it says here the diagram shows the position of 3 villages P, Q and R. R is due west of P. Okay, so when the question is saying R is due west of P, it's understood that this angle is going to be 90 degrees, even if the question doesn't tell you so, okay. So I've assumed why we assumed ADC to be flat. Why didn't we make a horizontal line and then assume the angle of rotation above that line? ADC. देखो, think of it this way. Okay, so I'm gonna have to be slightly creative over here. ठीक है. Let's say paper 2 leak करवा दें. बट अगर leak ही करवाना होता तो मैं इतनी लंबी live streams क्यों रखता? Okay, so ठहरो, let me just explain this to you quickly. Okay, so देखो, this is the diagram that's given to you in the question, right? This is the diagram that's given to you in the question. I hope you guys can see it. Okay, दिख रहा है ना आप लोगों को? हाँ, अच्छा. अब what's happened is कि D पे आपका एक vertical object है, ठीक है. So if you have a vertical object at D, ठीक है. Now whatever is in front of you, imagine this is lying on a flat horizontal surface. So अगर आपके पास D पे एक vertical object आ गया, so that means now the situation is something like this. Okay. So अब ये mast है, ठीक है. This is point D, where I fixed this pencil, ठीक है. And this is point A. So D, A, I mean this is the mast, D and A. So if you were to join this line, okay, if you were to join this line, you'll notice कि you're getting a 90-degree triangle. And if you were to do this on the other side also, if you were to do it on the other side also, you will again notice that you're getting a 90-degree triangle. Okay. What I'll do is, मैं इसकी एक picture लेके आपको भेज दूँगा. You can drop me a message on Instagram, and then you can look at the question again, and hopefully you'll have a better understanding of what's going on. Okay. Anyway, moving on now. So PRQ is this angle. Okay. Let's see how many marks. 4 marks. So that means ये simple 180 में से minus करके नहीं आएगा. We'll have to do something else. Okay. Sir, how will know the examiner meant it to be 3D or 2D? Okay. So whenever you have, okay, listen. Whenever you have a vertical object on a horizontal ground, okay, so that means instantly the question has now turned into 3D. एक object आ गया ना. If you have an object is what? An object is 3D. As long as there were lines, everything was in 2D. But the second you have an object in the question, that means it has turned into 3D. Okay? Now, अच्छा अब एक काम करते हैं. Let's find out this angle. कैसे निकालेंगे? 360 minus 90 minus 140. So we're looking at 130 degrees. Okay. Now, question for you guys. How will I find out angle PRQ? बताएं ज़रा मुझे. Thank you, meme regime. How will I find out angle PRQ? Okay. Considering that we have two lengths and a non-included angle. Put some thought into it and then tell me. Isosceles. Does it say that anywhere? Nope, it doesn't say that anywhere. Please guys, as long as it doesn't, I know it looks like an isosceles triangle, but please, just because it doesn't say that it's isosceles, we're not going to assume it to be isosceles. Okay? Please don't do that. दिखने पे नहीं जाते हैं हम, ठीक है? Okay, yes, sine rule, not cosine rule. We'll have to use sine rule. ठीक है? अच्छा, अब sine rule भी जब हम use करेंगे ना, so we'll only be able to find out angle Q. Okay? Why? Because we don't know what the length of angle PRQ is. Length opposite of angle PRQ is. So that means sine Q, okay, sine Q upon 3.8 is equals to sine of 130 over 7.5. ठीक है. अच्छा, why not cosine rule? Well, cosine rule use करने के लिए देखो, you need all three lengths, which you don't have sadly, so you can't use cosine rule. Okay. So let's work this out. Sine Q is equals to sine 130 divided by 7.5 into 3.8. Okay. And then we'll do sine inverse of the answer. So I'm looking at sine Q is equals to 0.388 something. Q के लिए we will do sine inverse of the answer. Please use your answer key, वरना you'll end up rounding off too soon. Sine inverse of the answer. Oh, मैंने sine answer कर दिया. Now I'll have to do it all over again. Sine 130 divided by 7.5 into 3.8. Sine inverse of the answer. So Q आ रहा है 22.838. अब since this is not the final answer, ठीक है, हम इसको 22.838 ही ले लेते हैं. Okay. Now in order to find out angle PRQ, we're almost there. 180 minus the sum of the two angles that we know, which is and they are 130 and 22.838. Okay. So let's see. आंसर है हमारे पास, इसमें 130 ऐड किया, 180 में से माइनस किया. So angle PRQ is equals to 27.2 degrees. Remember, all angles are supposed to be given correct to 2 decimal places. Can somebody tell which year of question this is? This is October-November 2021, paper 2, variant 1. Okay. Which is more difficult, add maths or D maths? I think add maths. Okay. Work out the bearing of R from Q. Bearing of R from Q. Okay. So अब ये मुझे आप लोगों ने बताना है कि कैसे निकालेंगे the bearing of R from Q. Bear in mind that this is a 2-mark question. ठीक है. Work out the bearing of R from Q, considering कि हमारे पास ये angle आ चुका है 22.8. Okay. Now put some thought into it and tell me how will we find it out. Find out the bearing of R from Q. I'll write it over here. Bearing of R from Q. Subtract from 360. Well, you'll have to be a bit more specific. 360 minus 22.8. Well, that's not going to do the job. Yes, 180 minus 140. Yep, you're on the right track. अच्छा, okay. So देखो, so basically एक काम करते हैं हम, ये जो नॉर्थ बना हुआ है ना, इसको ज़रा खींच के नीचे लेकर आते हैं. So that's going to help us find out this angle. Okay, how much is this angle going to be? This angle is going to be 40 degrees. Now, because this angle is 40 degrees, now pay close attention to what I'm highlighting. What do we have over here? We have an alternating angle. Okay, so that means this angle is also 40 degrees. Now, the angle that we want is basically this angle. Okay. Now, what if I had gone a full circle? If I had gone a full circle, that would have been 360. Okay. Now, that means I would have had to come back. How many degrees? 40 and 22.8. Okay. So, that means that we're going to do 360 minus 40 plus 22.8. Okay, let's work this out. You can't hear me? Is that true? Is that the same? Is it the same for everyone else also? तो ये आंसर हमारे पास आ रहा है 297.2. Okay, so there you go. 297.2 is the correct answer. Sir, I did 180. ठीक है, that's fine. Okay. So can you explain like how 40 degrees? Okay, I'll explain. देखो, whenever there is a question regarding bearing, it's very likely that somewhere in the question there will be alternating angles hidden. Okay, and that's exactly what has happened. So what I've done is I've just extended this north that was previously drawn, and this angle was 40 degrees. That means this straight line would be 180, obviously. Okay. So what about this angle? This angle will be 40 degrees. And if this angle is 40 degrees, notice how we have a set of alternating angles over here. That means if this is 40, this will also be 40. Okay. Usman, I hope that answers your question. Okay. Moving on, here's part B. Part B says the distance by road from village P to T is 16.5 kilometers. Okay. So can you make a video on map area scale in nets, please? Using cosine rule. So do we lose? No, you don't lose all marks. If your answer is wrong, you just lose 1 mark. Okay. For the final answer. Okay. If let's say all your working is correct and maybe you've misread the value or something like that, then you lose 1 mark. Okay. Okay, part B says the distance by road from village P to T is 16.5 kilometers. अच्छा, इसको हम K बोल देते हैं, ठीक है? It's a very difficult name to pronounce. I don't know how to pronounce it. So K leaves village P at 10:30 and drives to village T at an average speed of 45 kilometers per hour. He stops in village T for 15 minutes. He then drives back to the village P and arrives there at 11:35. Calculate K's average speed in kilometers per hour for the journey back from village T to village P. Okay, so how many marks? 4 marks. So a lot is going on over here. Let's figure it out step by step. ठीक है. So basically, ज़रा सवाल गौर से पढ़ते हैं पहले. ठीक है. Let's not rush into it. Let's read the question again. So the question here says that we are going from P to T. Okay, not V actually, Mr. K. ठीक है. And the distance apparently is 16.5 kilometers. Okay. Now he leaves village P at 10:30 and drives to village T at an average speed of 45 kilometers per hour. Okay. He then stops at the village T for 15 minutes. ठीक है, तो basically पहले तो देखते हैं कि average speed किसके बराबर होती है. ठीक है, अब ज़रा गौर से सुनिएगा आप लोग. Average speed is equals to distance upon time. Now, as far as the distance goes, we have the distance. The distance is 16.5, so we don't have to do any hard work for that. The problem is the time, okay? So, for time, we have to be really careful over here, okay? So, here's what we're going to do. So, jate way, when he's going from P to T, notice what happens. His speed is 45 kilometers per hour, okay? The distance we can see is 16.5, okay? So, what's time is equals to? Time is equals to distance upon speed, okay? So that means time is going to be equal to 16.5 over 45. All right, 16.5 divided by 45, and हाथ के हाथ let's multiply it by 60 also, so that we have the time in minutes. Okay, so time is equals to 22 minutes. Okay, अच्छा. Now he leaves the village at 10:30, so that means if he is leaving at 10:30, he's going to need 22 minutes to travel. Okay, that means he's going to be at T by 10:52. ठीक है, so 10:52 पे ये विलेज T पे पहुंच गए थे. ठीक है, 10:30 पे ये निकले and 22 minutes की ड्राइव थी. So yeah, so 10:52 पे he was at village T. Okay. Up, what's next? Next is that he's going to stay at the village for 15 minutes. Okay, so ये उनका stay here. He's going to stay at the village for 15 minutes. Okay, then what happens is 5 plus 2 is 7. 5 plus 1 is 6. Okay, now we'll fix that in a minute. 67 हो नहीं सकता, तो हम इसमें से 60 minus करके in the shape of an hour we'll give it to 10. Okay, so that means this is 07 and this is 11. So 11:07. Okay, so now when he's coming back, okay, I'm gonna ask you guys a question very soon. Okay, so please stay ready. So basically 11:07 पे he decides to come back. Okay, and he arrives back to the village at 11:35. So if I ask you guys, how long did he take? So बता सकते हैं आप लोग? How long did the guy take from to come back from T to P? See, you guys know you can use your calculator, right? I hope you guys have seen that video. वैसे इसमें you'd have बहुत ही मतलब unnecessary होगा calculator use करना because it's very simple. But you know that video is out there for you guys to watch, so make sure to watch it. So that's 28 minutes. So that means he has taken 28 minutes. ठीक है, अब हमारे सारे ingredients पूरे हो गए. Now we have all the ingredients to work out the average speed. Okay, so average speed, as we know, is distance, which is 16.5 upon time, which is 28. But if I do this, that means I am about to make a huge error. ठीक है, if I do this, I'm about to make a huge error. That means कि मैंने इसको divide by 60 करना है. Why? Because 28 was in minutes, so I need to divide that by 60. Okay, so 16.5 divided by 28 divided by 60. Okay, so work this out, and now we have the average speed, which is equal to 35.35, which means that the average speed is going to be equal to 35.4 kilometers per hour. There you go. Okay, see what I meant when I said ke be 100% concentrated, especially when you're doing a question that carries like 4 to 5 marks, because that means इसमें बहुत सारी चीज़ें connected हैं. So if you lose your concentration, you know, chances are you'll forget what's going on. Okay, why divide by 60? Well, the reason why I've divided by 60 is ताकि ये hours में convert हो जाए. Remember 28 क्या था? 28 minutes था. Okay, so I've divided by 60 so that I can convert this into hours. Okay, take deep breaths. Mohammed Ibrahim Asif, take deep breaths if अगर आपका दिमाग नहीं चल रहा एग्जाम में. Repeat how 28 came. Well, 28 ऐसे आया कि he left the village at 11:07. Okay, he left T at 11:07 and arrived at P at 11:35. So how long did he take? 28 minutes. Is it important to convert significant figures? Yes, it's important. Standard rule है आपका तो है, वरना if you don't do it, the examiner has the right to cut your marks. Okay, पेपर के शुरू में जब लिखा है एग्जामिनर ने, तो it's best that you follow it. ठीक है. अच्छा, here's another question from the same year. Okay, ये part B से मत समझना कि उसी का part B है. This is a separate question. ठीक है. Let me make sure it's a separate. Yeah, it's a separate question. It says the diagram shows a different right angle triangle. The length of the hypotenuse is 12 centimeters, so that means this length is 12 centimeters. Calculate the shortest distance from A to BC. Now, question for you guys: what is the shortest distance? Fill in the blanks. Shortest distance is the dash distance. Shortest distance is the blank distance. Yes, shortest distance is the perpendicular distance. ठीक है, shortest distance is the perpendicular distance. ठीक है. अच्छा, shortest distance from A to B C का मतलब पता है क्या? इसका मतलब हुआ ये distance. ठीक है. अच्छा, this is the distance that we have to find. अभी कैसे निकालेंगे वो बात की बात है. ठीक है. This is the distance that we have to find. A couple of things that I need to clarify before we solve this. प्लीज़ अगर ये हमें ऐसा लग रहा होता ना कि बिल्कुल वैसे तो वी कैन सी इट्स नॉट कटिंग द लाइन, इट डज नॉट लुक एज इफ इट्स कटिंग द लाइन एट द सेंटर, बट इवन इफ इट डिड लुक एज इफ द लाइन इज दिस लाइन दैट आई हैव ड्रॉप्ड cuts the line CB from the center, even then we would not divide it by divide this 12 by 2. ठीक है, just on if the question says so explicitly, or if the triangle is an isosceles triangle, only then will a perpendicular line divide this base into 2. Okay, otherwise we're not going to do that. Okay, अच्छा फिर another thing is this कि by no means does this mean कि ये angle जो है ना वो आपका half half में divide हो गया होगा. Okay, it does not say that anywhere, and by no means, by no theorem, by no property does that mean कि आपका ये angle जो है वो 45 में divide हो जाएगा. ठीक है, so now that we figured all of that out, अब let's see कि how exactly are we going to work out the perpendicular distance. ठीक है, maybe what we'll have to do for that is, you know what we'll have to do for that? For that we will have to first sort of ignore this line temporarily, okay, and use the entire triangle to find out this length AC over here. ठीक है, because then we can use that length to find out the shortest distance. Okay, so basically this is the opposite length. ठीक है, and this right here is the adjacent length. So we're going to use tan of 35. Sorry, this is not the opposite length. Sorry, this is the hypotenuse length. This is the hypotenuse length and that's the adjacent length. So that means we'll have to use cos. Okay, so cos 35 is equals to adjacent, which is AC upon hypotenuse, which is 12. Okay, so AC किसके बराबर आ जाएगा? AC बराबर आ जाएगा cos 35 bracket close times 12. So we're looking at 9.8298. So 9.829 इसको कर लेते हैं because it's not the final answer yet. Okay, अच्छा, now that we know what AC is, so let's write AC over here. It's 9.829. ठीक है, now we're going to make this line again. Okay, and we're going to make this line again. This is 90 degrees. ठीक है, the length that we have to find is the opposite length. The length that we have is the hypotenuse length. That means we're going to use sine. So sine 35 is equals to the opposite length, which is the distance that we have to find, over the hypotenuse, which is 9.829. ठीक है, so the distance is equals to sine 35 bracket close into answer. So 5.63. 5.638, actually 5.64 हो जाएगा, 5.64 centimeters. ठीक है, so where do I upload my notes? I upload my notes in you'll find my notes in the description of this video. Not right now, but once I'm done with the stream, then you'll find my notes along with the video in the description. Okay, okay, now अच्छा अब एक काम करते हैं, let's do a relatively more difficult questions. I think the question that we have been doing so far is fairly easy. Okay, so I'm going to move to a slightly more, the question that I think is difficult. Okay, well if you guys find that question easy, that's great. Consider yourself extremely lucky कि आपको वो question आसान लग रहा है, but if you find, my objective is to do a slightly difficult question. ठीक है, चलो next question ही है actually हमारा ज़रा थोड़ा सा difficult. ठीक है, okay, so here's a question. Let's see what it says. अच्छा ये इसी की continuation है. Wait a minute. No, wait, it's not a continuation, it's a separate question. ठीक है, this I should mention is from May June 2021, paper 2 variant 2, the same paper that got cancelled and then instead mini series was held. पहले साइन क्यों नहीं यूज़ हुआ? पहले साइन क्यों नहीं यूज़ हुआ? Well, we could have used sine use करके फिर हम AB निकाल सकते थे. Okay, we could have used sine and we could have worked out AB. Then we would have had to consider this triangle. So you're right, you're absolutely right. Okay, sir, can you please solve questions related to finding obtuse angle? Yes, Iman, I do have a question that in which you're supposed to do that. I think it's this question only, but yeah, I do have a question lined up. इसमें हम वो करेंगे. ठीक है, okay. So here's part C. I mean, here's a question. ठीक है, कौन सा question है ये मुझे नहीं पता, लेकिन it's from May June 2021, paper 2 variant 2. ठीक है, इसके previous parts जो होंगे probably trigonometry के नहीं होंगे, इसलिए I've ignored that. Okay, why not Pythagoras theorem? वेल पाइथागोरस थ्योरम इसलिए नहीं यूज़ कर सकते बिकॉज ये पूरी 12 नहीं है. Okay, किसने पूछा ये? Saima, the reason why we can't use Pythagoras theorem is because this entire line is not 12, okay? I mean, this entire line is 12. We don't know this part of the line, okay? Had we known this part of the line and had we figured out this length, which we did, okay, then we could have used Pythagoras theorem also, okay? Okay, part C. The diagram shows the sketch of a quadrilateral ABCD. All lengths are given in centimeters. It's not drawn to scale, so don't try and measure it. The area of the quadrilateral ABCD is 70 centimeters square. Calculate angle DAB. Okay, so DAB ka matlab that you need to calculate this entire angle. Now, is there a way to find out the entire angle at once? Do you think it's possible? Sir, I'm so sorry इतना लेट बता रही हूँ, but bearing वाले question में हमारे parallels वाली चीज़ क्यों हुई? Okay, Zulaikha, for that you'll have to wait. Okay. Yeah, so there is basically no way that we can find out the entire angle at once. Okay, so that means we'll have to break it down and do it step by step. Okay, अच्छा कैसे करेंगे? Let's see. So basically, what we can do is we can first find out. पहले तो हम एक काम करते हैं. First of all, let's find out the area of the triangle. Okay, area of triangle. And why do we need the area of triangle? Let's see, area of triangle ADC. Okay, so that's going to be equal to half times the base times the height. Okay, so 10 times 8 is 80, 80 upon 2 is 40. Okay, so area of triangle ADC 40 aa gaya. If the area of this triangle is 40, what will be the area of the other triangle? The triangle is on the right side, CAB. Yep, it's going to be 30. ठीक है, क्यों 30? 70 minus 40. Okay, अच्छा अब देखो, now we're almost there. ठीक है, वो कैसे? Now what we're going to do is we're going to find out this part of the angle, the one that I'm now highlighting in red. ठीक है, अब जो मैं red से highlight करूँ ना, हम ये निकालेंगे. अच्छा कैसे निकालेंगे? If you guys remember, there are two formulas for area of triangle. ठीक है, एक तो वो जो हम बचपन से पढ़ते चले आ रहे हैं और एक जो हम further trigonometry में सीखते हैं. ठीक है, और वो फॉर्मूला क्या होता है? वो फॉर्मूला होता है हाफ a इंटू बी इंटू साइन सी. ठीक है, अच्छा वो बाय द वे यूल फाइंड इट इन दिस PDF. ठीक है, उसके भी मैंने यहाँ पे नोट्स अटैच कर दिए हैं. या इट्स राइट ओवर हियर. ठीक है, सो या यूल फाइंड इट ओवर हियर. ठीक है, अच्छा सो कहाँ थे हम? कहाँ गया? या इट्स राइट ओवर हियर. ठीक है, नाउ रिमेंबर AB आर टू लेंथ्स एंड C इज़ द एंगल इन बिटवीन, जिसको हम क्या बोलते हैं? जिसको हम इंक्लूडेड एंगल बोलते हैं. ठीक है, so we know that the area of triangle is 30. This is equal to half times 8 times 9 times sine of CAB. ठीक है, now this requires a bit of calculation. So 30 into 2 is 60. 8 times 9 जो है आपका वो 72 हो जाएगा. ठीक है, 30 into 2 60 हो जाएगा. So sine CAB is equals to 60 divided by 72. ठीक है, तो CAB के लिए मैं क्या करूँगा? I'll do sine inverse of 60 over 72. Please do not round it off before you do not round off anything before your final answer. ठीक है, so 60 divided by 72 sine inverse of the answer. So what do you get? You get 56.44. ठीक है, not the final answer. So let's have it in 2 decimal places. ठीक है, अच्छा फिर what's next? What is next is कि हमें निकालना है ये वाला एंगल, the one that I'm now highlighting in green. अब ये कैसे निकालेंगे? ये तो काफ़ी सिंपल सा है. इसके लिए we will use the opposite length and the adjacent length. Okay, so the opposite, and we'll use tan. So tan of CAD is equals to 10 upon 8. Now let's work out CAD. जिसके लिए we'll do tan inverse of 10 upon 8. So CAD is equals to, let's work it out, tan inverse of 10 upon 8. Is the stream lagging? Is that correct? So that's 51.3. 51.34. Okay, so now that we have both the angles, what's left is to just simply sum them up, this angle plus this angle, and then we'll have angle DAB. So angle DAB is equals to 51.34 plus 56.44. So angle DAB is equals to 56.44, 107.78, जिसको हम कर देंगे क्या, जिसको हम कर देंगे 107.8 degrees. ठीक है. What's the purpose of calculating the area of individual triangles? Well, for the first triangle we didn't really need it, but we needed the area of the first triangle so that we could figure out the area of the other triangle. And why did we need to find out the area of the other triangle? So that the only way we could find out this angle is by using the area formula. This is not a 90-degree triangle. Number one, we can't use sine or cosine rule over here. Number two, so that means the only way to find out this angle is by using the area formula. Okay. And how did I find out this angle? For this I used the trigonometric ratio tan, opposite upon adjacent. And how did I find out this angle? This angle I found by using the area of triangle formula, half AB sine C. Okay. And then we just simply summed them up. Is it necessary to use area and subtract? Can't we use another method? Well, what would be the other method? I'd like to know. Sir, can you please make a video on how to attempt P2? I will try to do that. Okay. Permutation combination हम कल करेंगे इंशाल्लाह. Okay. Okay. Is the stream lagging? I hope not. Okay, so this is a question that involves 3D trigonometry. ठीक है, मतलब 3D shape है, उसमें आपको angles निकालने and what not. ठीक है, so this is a very important question. Pay close attention. This part alone is basically worth 8 marks. ठीक है, अच्छा. Let's see. Sir, area से angle कैसे निकाला? Will you use the area of triangle formula, beta? Usman, use the area of triangle formula. ठीक है. I said I'll upload in the notes in the description once we're done with the stream. Was it? That's what I said. Okay, so this is from May June 2021, paper 2 variant 1. Okay, this is paper 21, same year, paper 21. Okay. Acha, so it says show that TR is equals to 19.7, correct to 1 decimal place. Okay, so I want you guys to take a good look at this diagram. Tell me how exactly are we going to find out TR. ठीक है, और से देखें पहले ज़रा इसको और फिर मुझे बताएं. Don't jump to conclusions, take your time and tell me step by step TR निकालने का क्या तरीका होगा. Okay, Pythagoras theorem, yes. Pythagoras theorem is the correct answer. ठीक है. अच्छा, so let's see what we're going to do. Okay. Pythagoras theorem हम कैसे लगाएंगे? Pythagoras theorem लगाने के लिए सबसे पहले, अच्छा देखो, so basically this has to be a step by step process. Okay. So the first thing we need to find out is TV. And TV निकालने के लिए we'll have to use Pythagoras theorem over here. अच्छा, now nowhere in the question does it say कि 90 degree triangle है, but it's understood कि 90 degree होगा because it's a cuboid. Okay. How do we know it's 90? Hazra, I've just answered your question because it's a cuboid. A cuboid is made of rectangles. Rectangles की vertices पे क्या होते हैं हमारे पास? You have 90 degrees. ठीक है. So 15 squared plus 10 squared is going to be equal to TV squared. ठीक है. अच्छा, मैं आपको एक मशवरा देता हूँ, वो ये कि आप TV square को ना TV square ही रहने देना. ठीक है. क्यों? क्योंकि अगले पार्ट में काम आ जाएगा. 15 squared plus 10 squared. Okay, so TV squared is equals to 325. बजाय इसके कि आप उसको स्क्वायर रूट करें फिर अगले पार्ट में फिर स्क्वायर करें, ठीक है, that's irrelevant, so just let it b squared. Okay, so now the next triangle that I'm going to be using is this. ठीक है, इसमें भी हमें कैसे पता चला कि ये 90 डिग्री है? वेल आपकी लाइन टी वी हॉरिजॉन्टल है, ठीक है, एंड वी आर जो है वो वर्टिकल है, सो लाजमी सी बात है दिस हैज़ टू बी 90 डिग्रीज, ठीक है. सो दिस मीन्स दैट टी वी स्क्वायर प्लस वी आर स्क्वायर्ड is equals to TR squared. Okay, now we know that TV square is straight away equal to 325, so देखो हम rounding off के चक्करों से बच गए. Plus 8 squared is equals to TR squared. Let's see. So TR squared is equals to 325 plus 8 squared, which is 64. So TR squared is equals to 389. Square root करो इसका, तो TR is equals to 19.7 centimeter. So TXR is 90. No. TXR, unless it says in the question that it's 90, उसके अलावा तो हम 90 नहीं assume करेंगे. देखते हैं, सवाल पढ़ते हैं, मे बी सवाल में कहीं लिखा है कि 90 है. अगर लिखा हुआ है तो ठीक है, नहीं तो हम नहीं assume कर सकते ये 90 है, ठीक है. Okay. Next part says x is the midpoint of PQ. Calculate T or x. अच्छा, अब एक काम करते हैं, as always इसको करते हैं delete. इसका लेते हैं एक ज़रा screenshot लेते हैं, ठीक है, और इसको यहाँ पे पेस्ट करते हैं. अच्छा वेट अ मिनट, ठीक है. x इज़ द मिड पॉइंट ऑफ PQ. अच्छा PQ कितना होगा? PQ 10 होगा, दैट मीन्स ये 5 हो गया और ये भी 5 हो गया, ठीक है. अच्छा, देन व्हाट डू वी हैव टू फाइंड आउट? वी हैव टू फाइंड आउट T और X. T और X is this angle. So the good thing I think about this question is that it has made us do all the difficult work, ठीक है. And I don't think there's anything for us to find out. कितने मार्क्स का ये? 5 मार्क्स का. Okay, no, wait a minute. Now because it's a 5 mark question, that means it's likely कि हमें और भी बहुत सारी चीज़ें पहले निकालनी पड़ें before we can find out T or X, ठीक है. So we have T R, okay. So we have T R. जी. And what can we find? Okay. So there is one length that we can find out immediately, ठीक है. अब ये सवाल मैं आप लोगों से पूछ रहा हूँ, बताओ कौन सी लेंथ है जो कि हम immediately निकाल सकते हैं. When will the stream end? Well, stream को हम end कर देंगे 9 o'clock, 9:30, क्या ख्याल है? ठीक है. अच्छा, stream से याद है guys, if you haven't liked the stream yet, please give a thumbs up and do subscribe if you haven't yet. XR. Okay, yes, Mariam Basit, good job. XR we can find out immediately. Acha, XT. Well, not bad. We can actually find out XT also. ठीक है. We can find out TR तो देखो हम निकाल चुके हैं ना. We can find out TX and we can also find out XR. ठीक है. So, in fact, you know what? We will need all these lengths before we can find out what the angle is. ठीक है. So we will need all these lengths before we can find out what the angle. Okay, so the length that I have highlighted in blue, मैं इसकी working blue से कर रहा हूँ, ठीक है. So इसको हम कैसे करेंगे? x t squared is going to be equal to 5 squared plus 8 squared. In case anyone's wondering कि मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ, so basically मैं इस triangle को consider कर रहा हूँ, ठीक है, और ये हमारा 90 degree triangle बनेगा, ठीक है. So x t squared is equals to, let's work this out, 25 plus 64, so that's 89, ठीक है. xt is equals to square root of the answer, so that is 9.433, ठीक है. It's not the final answer, so एक extra decimal place ले लेते हैं. अच्छा, अब जिस लेंथ को मैं ग्रीन से हाईलाइट कर रहा हूँ उसकी वर्किंग मैं ग्रीन से करूँगा, ठीक है. डोंट लूज ट्रैक प्लीज़. एंड क्या वर्किंग कर रहा हूँ? बेसिकली दिस इज़ द 90 degree triangle that I am considering. ऑलराइट, सो XR squared is equals to 5 squared. ये 15 होगी, ज़ाहिर सी बात है, जिस तरह से ये 8 थी. 5 squared plus 15 squared, ठीक है. Yes, then we're going to use cos rule. That's correct. So XR squared is going to be equal to 225 plus 25, so that's 250. चेक कर लेते हैं. कैलकुलेटर की जब इतनी आदत हो जाए तो भरोसा नहीं रहता अपने आप पे. Yeah, so XR is equals to square root of 250. That means 15.81. Okay. So इतनी सारी मेहनत करने के बाद हम ऐसी जगह पहुँचे हैं कि Why did I take PT as 8? क्योंकि बेटा हाइट है ना क्यूबॉइड की, तो अब मैं यहाँ से लूँ, मैं PT लूँ, मैं देखो ये 8 है तो ये भी 8 होगी, ये भी 8 होगी, ये भी 8 होगी. इट्स अ क्यूबॉइड, राइट? अच्छा देखो, so इतनी सारी मेहनत करने के बाद we are at a point that we have everything we need to find out the final answer. ठीक है, we have xt, that's 9.433. We have xr, which is 15.81, and the good thing about the question is it made us work out tr, which is 19.7. Okay, so we are at a situation where we have all three lengths and we need to find out an angle. What do I do? कॉस्ट रूल, गुड जॉब. ठीक है, रिमेंबर कॉस्ट रूल जो है ना दो सिनारियोस पे लगता है. ठीक है, कॉस्ट रूल लगता है जब आपके पास सारे एंगल्स हों, सारी लेंथ्स हो, सॉरी, सो यू कैन फाइंड आउट व्हाटएवर एंगल यू वांट एंड व्हेन यू हैव टू लेंथ्स एंड एन इंक्लूडेड एंगल. ठीक है, सो व्हाट एंगल डू वी हैव टू फाइंड? वी हैव टू फाइंड आउट टी और एक्स. सो टी और एक्स इज दिस एंगल. ठीक है, अच्छा अब इसका कॉस्ट रूल कैसे बनाएंगे? कॉस्ट रूल भी ज़रा इंपॉर्टेंट है बनाना पहले. सो टी और एक्स इज गोना बी इक्वल टू, बस ये याद रखो कि सामने वाली जो लेंथ होती है वो हमेशा माइनस होती है. ठीक है, याद रखो सामने वाली लेंथ जो होती है वो माइनस होती है. ठीक है, दैट मीन्स कि जो लेफ्ट एंड राइट वाली लेंथ्स हैं वो क्या होंगी? वो प्लस होंगी. ठीक है, सो दैट मीन्स 15.81 स्क्वायर्ड प्लस 19.7 स्क्वायर्ड minus 9.433 squared, and the lengths that you've added are the lengths that are also going to get divided by 2 also. I mean multiplied by 2 and then get divided. That means 2 times 15.81 times 19.7. Okay, so now isko as it is calculator mein plug in kar do. ठीक है, please do not try and do it in bits and pieces. Do not try and evaluate 15.81 squared and then 19.7 squared. Just plug it in, throw it in your calculator as it is. Okay, this ASMA is from May June 2021, paper 2 variant 1. Okay, 15.81 squared plus 19.7 squared minus 9.433 squared over 2 into 15.81 bracket close bracket open 19.7 bracket close. Okay, so we're looking at cos of t or x to be equal to something like 0.881, so on and so forth. Okay, now in order to find out t or x, I'm going to do cos inverse answer. अब ये extra step जो मैं कर रहा हूँ ना, ये I really don't need to do this. I'm only doing it so that you guys remember to use the answer key. Okay, cos inverse of the answer. So cos inverse of the answer gives us 28.1 degrees. ठीक है, there you go. We're done with part 2. ठीक है, मज़ा आया ये सवाल करके? $61.76 Hussain is not the final answer. It's 28.1 beta. Check karo. Sir, second step mein maza in what sense? It was a good challenging question, no? Yeah, satisfaction, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. So would you kindly give us some worksheets compiled topic wise? But I do that right after every stream. मैं इसके साथ लगा देता हूँ and I leave some questions unsolved which you guys can practice. Too long question. Well, paper 2 is exhausting, guys. Let's face it. Paper 2 is you're getting 2 hours and 30 minutes. So obviously, there are going to be questions that are going to take you 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Okay, so let's face that. You know? Sir, P2 के 2-3 questions के बाद energy drain हो जाती है. तो बेटा get enough sleep before the exam. ठीक है, keep yourself hydrated. You can give yourself sort of like a sugar rush by eating something sweet, but don't do that like before the exam because when it wears off then you get tired immediately. Do that like in between the exam. Okay, maybe 1 घंटे बाद, आधे घंटे बाद you can eat something sweet and sort of give yourself a sugar rush. ठीक है, उससे आपकी थोड़ी एनर्जी आ जाएगी, बट वो एनर्जी ना एक बर्स्ट मोड में आती है और फिर जैसे ही वो उसका इफेक्ट ख़त्म होता है आप यू इमीडिएटली गेट टायर्ड. सो यू हैव टू टाइम इट करेक्टली. ठीक है. सर, विल यू डू लाइव क्लासेस फॉर अक्टूबर नवंबर ऑल्सो? अक्टूबर नवंबर, लेट्स सी बेटा, अक्टूबर नवंबर में देखेंगे हम ना. ठीक है, बट बाय अक्टूबर नवंबर इंशाल्लाह देयर विल बी प्लेंटी ऑफ कंटेंट फॉर यू टू बेनिफिट फ्रॉम. ठीक है. Drink loads of water like every 10 minutes. Well, if you drink a lot of water then do that at your own risk. ठीक है, फिर यू माइट एंड अप लूजिंग टाइम ऑल्सो, ठीक है. कॉफ़ी पी कर चले जाएँ, या बट डोंट डू समथिंग दैट यू नॉट यूज टू. ओके, इफ़ यू नॉट यूज टू हैविंग कॉफ़ी देन डोंट ड्रिंक कॉफ़ी, ठीक है. एक्सपेरिमेंट करने का ये टाइम नहीं है, ठीक है. ये ना कि आप अपनी बॉडी के ओके, सॉरी अबाउट दैट, इंटरनेट डिस्कनेक्ट हो गया था, बट आई थिंक वी आर बैक ऑनलाइन. Is it good now? Can you guys hear me? मेरे पास क्यों नहीं शो हो रहा? ओके, ग्रेट. अच्छा, क्या सवाल पूछा आप लोगों ने? आप लोगों ने पूछा सर आपसे बताएं करनी के मज़ा आपसे बातें. ओह अच्छा, ओके, चलो अच्छी बात है. लाइकवाइज, गुड टू टॉक टू यू गाइस ऑल्सो. चलें, let's get back to work. Sir, come to Bangladesh and do what? Come to Bangladesh and do what? ओके, अच्छा, अब एक ऐसा क्वेश्चन करते हैं, किसी ने कहा भी था जिसमें वो ऑब्ट्यूस एंगल निकालना होता है ना. सो आई हैड अ क्वेश्चन लाइंड अप. हाँ, ये वाला क्वेश्चन है, ठीक है. कम टू इंडिया. ओके सर, गिव अस अ रूम टूर. वेल, you'll actually be disappointed, ठीक है. This is actually the best part of the room, ठीक है. So if I show you the entire room, you'll probably be disappointed, ठीक है. This is as good as the room gets. Okay, come to South Africa. Okay, sure beta. Anyway, chale, let's do this question. This is from May June 2020, paper 2. North Korea, yeah. Okay, yeah, that is one place I'd like to go. Anyway, so this is May June 2020, paper 2, variant 1. Okay, let's see what this says. Starts off with a relatively easier part. It says show that angle ACB is 62.9. Okay, show वाले questions जो होते हैं ना, ये best होते हैं, because best भी होते हैं और worst भी होते हैं. Worst in the sense that if it's wrong, if you're unable to show that it is what it is, then you know for sure you're losing marks. And best in the sense कि अगर आ गया तो you know कि for sure आपने सही किया. So go to Zenomatics house and boxing. Yeah. Khair, anyway, so cosine rule, yes. Cos of ACB is equals to 800 squared. Now remember what I said, it's the length that's opposite the angle that we subtract. So 800 squared plus 600 squared minus 750 squared. Okay, divide by 2 into 800 into 600. Okay, bearing 207.2. बेटा साइमा, मुझे लग रहा है आप इंटरनेट एक्सप्लोरर यूज़ कर रही हैं. आई थिंक ये सवाल तो हम बहुत पहले ही कर चुके हैं. खैर, वैसे आई हैव नो राइट टू मेक फन ऑफ दैट बिकॉज मेरा अपना इंटरनेट भी बहुत तंग करता रहता है. ओके, सो 800 स्क्वायर्ड प्लस 600 स्क्वायर्ड माइनस 750 स्क्वायर्ड. ठीक है, ब्रैकेट में 2 इंटू 800 इंटू 600. ठीक है, so AC, here's what I'm looking at. Cos ACB is equals to 175 over 384. Okay, so ACB के लिए we'll do cos inverse of the answer. अब ये step मैं finally skip कर रहा हूँ. cos inverse of the answer. So I'm looking at 62.888. ठीक है, तो ये हो जाएगा 62.9 degrees. ठीक है, there you go. 62.9 degrees is the answer. ठीक है. Ayan, beta, there's a nicer way of getting your point across. ठीक है, I mean, I understand that you need help in trigonometry, but खैर, anyway. AD, okay. अब AD कैसे निकालेंगे? Now, what does the question say? The question says the area of the field. Marks भी देखो, it's a 4-mark question, so that means a lot of working that's required. Okay. So, सबसे पहले हम एक काम करते हैं. Let's find out the area of this triangle. ठीक है. अब इस ट्रायंगल का एरिया निकालने के लिए माई वर्किंग इज़ गोना बी इन ग्रीन. ओके, सो अच्छा एक काम करते हैं एज ऑलवेज, इसको ज़रा डिलीट करके, एक तो इनको कैमरे वालों को ना हर सवाल के साथ सेम डायग्राम देना चाहिए था ताकि हम उसको उस पर हम ये डूडलिंग कर सकें. खैर, सो लेट्स फाइंड आउट द एरिया ऑफ दिस ट्रायंगल. ठीक है, इसके लिए सवाल हमसे देखो एंगल ऑलरेडी निकलवा चुका है 62.9 डिग्रीज. ठीक है, सो हाफ इंटू 800 इंटू 600 इंटू साइन ऑफ 62.9. ठीक है, so let's see what do we have. We have 0.5 into 800 into 600 into sine of 62.9 bracket close. Okay, so ये आ रहा है हमारे पास 213,651.07 so on and so forth. ठीक है, so how will I calculate the area of this triangle? Well, I'll subtract it from the total area. ठीक है, total area क्या है? Total area 375,000, so 375,000 minus answer. So I'm looking at 161,348.9269. ठीक है, why am I not rounding it? Why am I not rounding it off? Well, the reason why I'm not rounding it off is because it's not the final answer yet. ठीक है, अच्छा, okay. So अब what's next? Next is सवाल आपसे कह रहे हैं कि calculate AD. अब AD कैसे निकालेंगे? AD के लिए we can use the area half into AD into 800 is equals to, ये जो हमने एरिया निकाला है 161,348.9269. ठीक है, सो लेट्स वर्क इट स्टेप बाय स्टेप. अच्छा, अब इस आंसर को ना अपने कैलकुलेटर में रखना. ठीक है, मल्टीप्लाइड बाय 2 डिवाइडेड बाय 800. सो हमारे पास AD आ रहा है 403.37. ठीक है, which once we round it off correct to 3 significant figures it's gonna be 403. ठीक है, अच्छा, here's part C. Part C says calculate angle ACD. Okay, अब ACD कैसे निकालेंगे? ACD निकालने के लिए this is what we're gonna do. So हमारे पास ये 800 है, and now that we've also worked out this to be 403, we can work out ACD. This length becomes the opposite length, and this length becomes the adjacent length. So what are we gonna use? We're gonna use, sir, height 800 कैसे? देखो बेटा, whenever you're finding out the area of a triangle, ठीक है, so it's half into base into height. और base और height जो आपस में एंगल बनाते हैं, ठीक है, base और height आपस में एंगल बनाते हैं 90 degrees. Okay, so if you've taken 403 as your base, 800 becomes your height. ठीक है, doesn't matter, you can take 800 as your base and 403 as your height. ठीक है, so when I saw this question myself it seemed very difficult, but now it's easy. All right, happy to help Amna, happy to help. ठीक है, okay, so ACD निकाल रहे थे हम, right? So we have opposite and adjacent, that means we're going to use tan. Tan of ACD is equals to opposite, that's 403 upon adjacent, so that's 800. ठीक है, ACD is equals to, so tan inverse of 403 divided by 800, so we have 26.73. जिसको हम 26.7 पे लॉक कर देंगे. ठीक है, अच्छा, okay, now this is a different question. It's not one of those questions that we come across regularly. Okay, slightly different. How do I know which angle is opposite? Well, the angle that's right, the length that is right in front of the angle that we're trying to calculate, that is the opposite length. Okay, now this is not the last question. We'll probably do one more question and then call it off. Okay, what do you want me to explain, beta? 800, देखो 800 वाली चीज़ मैं फिर बता देता हूँ. Please remember, जो हम triangle में half into base into height करते हैं ना, the one thing you need to remember is that base and height make a 90-degree angle in between. Okay, so if you take AD as your base, this naturally becomes your height. Okay, and if you take this as your base, this naturally becomes your height. Sir, how did you learn to spin your pen? I don't know, but it just came to me. I don't know how and where I learned it. So what stream are you doing next for add maths? Yes, add maths की next is permutation and combination. ठीक है, अच्छा, अब ज़रा ये करते हैं. ठीक है, so it says here x is a point on DC and ax is equals to 500. ठीक है, अच्छा, ये कौन सा ट्रायंगल चल रहा है? ये वाइट वाला ट्रायंगल चल रहा है. हाँ, ठीक है, 800, 500, AD हम निकाल चुके हैं, 403 याद रहे. ठीक है, and the question wants us to calculate the obtuse angle, this angle basically. This is the angle that the question wants us to calculate. ठीक है, ऑब्ट्यूस एंगल. अब देखो ऑब्ट्यूस एंगल कैसे निकलेगा, हमारा कैलकुलेटर जो है वो अक्यूट देगा, बट देन विल हैव टू फाइंड आउट द ऑब्ट्यूस एंगल. ठीक है. अच्छा, लेट्स सी व्हाट अदर लेंथ डू वी हैव. वी हैव AX is 500. Okay. And what else? How many marks is this? This is 4 marks. So that means working तो ठीक ठाक इसके लिए करनी होगी, लेकिन देखते हैं अगर कोई शॉर्टकट मिल जाए. नहीं है शॉर्टकट. ओके, कोई बात नहीं. So DC is the hypotenuse. ठीक है. Why? Because so basically what I'm doing is I'm taking the entire triangle at once. ठीक है. So DC squared is equals to 403 squared plus 800 squared. ठीक है. So DC is equals to square root of let's see 403 squared plus 800 squared. Okay. So now we have 895.77. ठीक है. अच्छा, अब ये अगर हमारे पास 895.77 आ गया, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to work out, we can use this to find out. Actually I just realized कि ये एंगल निकालनी जो है, ये लेंथ निकालना इतना ज़रूरी नहीं था. ठीक है. So yeah, okay, so this wasn't too important. इसके बगैर भी हमारा काम हो सकता था. खैर, so चलो अब निकाल ली तो निकाल ली. ठीक है. we'll just leave it on the side. Okay, so what can we do over here? एक काम करते हैं, let's find out this angle. ठीक है. this angle should definitely help us. कैसे? Let's see. This is the opposite. ठीक है. and this is the adjacent. now note करो, question हमसे ये angle already निकलवा चुका है. ठीक है. and this is 26.7 degrees. ठीक है. this is something that we've already worked out. Okay. now what we can do now is, the question is asking us to calculate the obtuse angle AXC, right? So we have an angle and the length, well, we don't have an angle, but we do have the length opposite to it, and over here you can see that we have an angle and the length opposite to it. ठीक है. So I'm watching your videos all the way from Sri Lanka. Okay, how are things in Sri Lanka? The political situation and everything. I hope things have settled down. Anyway, so I'm just gonna clear this mess up and make it easy for you guys. Okay. So this we found out to be 26.7. Okay. So sine of 26.7 over 500. Okay, is equals to sine of AXC over 800. Okay. Let's work this out. Sine AXC. So sine of 26.7 bracket close divided by 500 into 800. So this is what we get. Sine of AXC is equals to 0.7189. So AXC is equals to what? Sine inverse of the angle. So that's 45.96. अच्छा, अब 45.96 तो ये है. 45.96 is this angle. Okay. Now how exactly are we going to find out the obtuse angle? Question for you guys. Thank you, Brian. You seem to be popular. I don't know. I haven't heard of you. I'm sorry about that. But yeah. Anyway, so can you guys tell me how exactly are we going to find out the obtuse angle? Yes, 180 में से हम माइनस कर देंगे. ठीक है. So 180 minus acute angle. ठीक है. Remember is equals to obtuse angle. So yeah. So what do we get? We get 134.0. So 134 पर इसको लॉक कर देते हैं. 134.0. ठीक है. Okay. Alright, what do you guys suggest? Achha, there's one more question that I want to do, and that is this question. This is perhaps the hardest trigonometry question that I've seen. 1.1 million subscribers? Okay. Okay. Have you guys seen this question, and have you attempted this question? Oh, Brian, I have seen your videos. Of course I've seen your videos. I've seen your shortcut videos, yes. Okay. Nice of you to stop by, Brian. Appreciate that. Okay, acute angle, look, whenever you use your calculator, listen up guys, whenever you use your calculator, you get an acute angle, okay? But if the question is categorically asking you to find the obtuse angle, well, what you do is you subtract it from 180, okay? This is from May June 2016, paper 2, variant 2, okay? And just so you guys know, the threshold of this paper, okay, the threshold of this paper was actually very low. Achha, in case you guys want updated thresholds, so I have them on my Instagram, ठीक है? इस पेपर का threshold पता है क्या था आप लोगों को? इस पेपर का threshold, maybe we'll attempt this paper one day, 65 out of 100 for an A. So 65 out of 100 got you an A. Okay, May June 2016. So this was, I will encourage you guys to attempt this paper if you want, whenever you guys can find the time. ठीक है? 65% पे A था, and पता है B किस पे था? 48 out of 100 पे B था. Okay, that's funny. I don't know why, but yeah. Anyway, so I will encourage you guys to attempt this paper. ठीक है? अच्छा. Anyway, so here's question number 9. इसका statistics का सवाल भी difficult था, इसका trigonometry का सवाल भी difficult था, इसका mensuration का सवाल भी difficult था. ठीक है? वालेकुम सलाम हसन. अच्छा. Okay. So let's get to work, guys. So it says here the diagram shows a vertical wind turbine blades with 30 meter long. The blades are stationary with the point A being the maximum distance possible from the horizontal ground. ठीक है. The point B is such that the angle of elevation of A from B is 34 degrees. ठीक है. And the angle of elevation of the center of the blades from C is 25 degrees. Okay, so be very careful. So yeah, I'm gradually going to mark the angles, ठीक है, and make sure that you're paying close attention to जहाँ जहाँ मैं mark कर रहा हूँ. Okay, the point B is such that the angle of elevation of A from B is 34 degrees. So this angle that you're looking at is 34 degrees. Okay, and then the angle of elevation of the center of the blade C from B is 25 degrees. So that means this angle is 25 degrees. ठीक है? अच्छा. Now question for you guys, and the question is, can you tell me what the angle in between is going to be? Faris, I totally understand that time is of the essence, and I know you guys have back-to-back exams, but buddy, I'm short on time also. Okay, so these streams are saved, so you can always watch them later. Okay. Okay, yeah, so this angle is going to be 9 degrees. Okay. Achha ji. Acha, next the question is asking you to calculate what? Next thing you know, the question is asking you to calculate the distance AB. Achha ji. AB कैसे निकालें देखते हैं. AB के लिए हमें और क्या information दी हुई है. So we know that the length of the blade is 30 meters. Okay, does that help? Well, not really. Okay. चलें, अब आप लोग मुझे ये बताओ कि is there a way to somehow find out this angle. अब एक काम करो, देखो, imagine that this is a vertical line. ठीक है, फिर मैं इसको separately भी बना दूंगा, but imagine this is a vertical line. Is it possible for you guys to somehow find out this angle that I marked in green? Let me just zoom into it. ये angle बता सकते हो कितना होगा? Have a closer look at it and tell me कि ये angle कितना होगा. (180 minus 65). Okay. अच्छा देखो, so अब मैं ज़रा working कर रहा हूँ इसके लिए. ठीक है, pay close attention everyone. So first of all, we're going to examine the triangle that we have in green. ठीक है, this green triangle. Okay, this is 90. Why? Because it's a vertical wind turbine. ठीक है, and ground horizontal है. This angle is going to be 180 minus 90 minus 25. ठीक है, so that means this angle is going to be 65 degrees, and this angle is going to be 180 minus 65. That means it's going to be 115 degrees. ठीक है, अब देखो, to make it easier, मैं इस पूरे डायग्राम का ना एक आप लोगों को सेपरेटली स्केच बना के दिखा देता हूँ. ये चल रहा है बेसिकली इस डायग्राम में. ओके, दिस इज 30. दिस एंगल वी वर्कड आउट टू बी 9 degrees. So yeah, this is 90 degrees. This angle was given to us as 25 degrees. ठीक है, which is how we worked out this angle to be 65, and then this angle came out to be 115 degrees. ठीक है. अच्छा, अब what are we going to do? Well, we're going to consider this triangle, and we're going to use this triangle to find out the distance AB. ठीक है, this is A and that's B. ठीक है, and this is C. Okay, so AB कैसे निकालेंगे? Pay close attention. AB over sine of 115 is equals to 30 over sine of 9. ठीक है, let's work this out. 30 divided by sine of 9 into sine 115. Okay, so we're looking at AB is equals to 173.8. So ये हो जाएगा 174 meters. ठीक है. Okay, now part B. Part B says a different wind turbine shown in the diagram on the next page. ठीक है, ये रहा. Has the center of its blades F 75 meters from the base of the wind turbine D. ठीक है, so you can see कि इसका जो center है, center of the blades is 75 meters from the ground. ठीक है. अच्छा, फिर it says point E is on sloping ground. Okay, so no more horizontal ground, guys. ठीक है, no more 90 degree angles. Why? Because we have a sloping ground. We don't have a horizontal या level ground. ठीक है. Point E is on sloping ground. So yeah, very good. 180 meters from F and 130 meters from D. 180 meters from F and 130 meters from D. ठीक है. Calculate the distance. अच्छा wait, इधर हम पूछ क्या रहे हैं, इधर तो कुछ और पूछ रहा है. Calculate the angle of depression of E from F. Okay, E from F. E from F निकालने के लिए हमें क्या करना पड़ेगा? This is what we'll have to do. First of all, let's find out the angle that we have to calculate. Just so we're clear, the angle that we'll have to calculate is this angle. ठीक है, but we can't do that directly. उसके लिए हमें ये वाला एंगल कैलकुलेट करना पड़ेगा. ठीक है, अब ये वाला एंगल कैसे कैलकुलेट करेंगे, ज़रा कोई मुझे बताएगा? How are we going to calculate this angle? अच्छा प्लीज़ इधर ये नहीं होगा कि you can work out this angle and these two angles will be the same. ठीक है, that's not going to happen over here. Why is it not going to happen over here? That's because you don't have horizontal ground anymore. ठीक है, so ये वाली लाइन और ये वाली लाइन पैरेलल नहीं है. ठीक है, ये वाली लाइन और ये वाली लाइन पैरेलल नहीं है. ठीक है, प्लीज़ आधी बात नहीं सुनना कि पैरेलल है, ये पैरेलल नहीं है. Why? Because this is a horizontal line. Okay, this is a horizontal line and this is a sloping ground. So these two lines are not parallel. Okay. अच्छा, so what do we have? थीटा निकालने के लिए हमें कोसाइन रूल लगाना पड़ेगा. ठीक है, अच्छा एक काम करते हैं, अजीब इसने कंफ्यूज करने के लिए हमें ये नीचे दे दिया, इसको ज़रा ऊपर लेके चलते हैं. कॉपी एंड देन लेट्स पेस्ट इट ओवर हियर. ठीक है, सो विल हैव टू यूज़ कोसाइन रूल. कहाँ यूज़ करें हम कोसाइन रूल? इस ट्रायंगल में जो मैं रेड से हाईलाइट कर रहा हूँ. ठीक है, सो कॉस theta is equals to 75 squared plus 180 squared minus 130 squared. Remember, the length that's opposite to theta is the only length that gets subtracted, over 2 into 75 into 180. Okay, let's work this out. Theta is equals to 75 squared plus 180 squared minus 130 squared over 2 into 75 into 180. Okay, cos inverse of the answer karo. So yeah, I get 38.5 degrees. Now don't get carried away and think this is your final answer. The final answer is going to be 90 minus 38.5, okay, which is going to give you 51.5 degrees. Okay. Yes, tracing paper is allowed. If the examiner takes it away, politely tell the examiner या invigilator कि paper पे लिखा है it's allowed. It's written on the paper that it's allowed, so they'll probably give it back to you. Okay. Okay. C part 1. Okay. So C part 1 says, these three parts are difficult parts. अभी तक तो I think it was fairly easy, but these three parts are the difficult parts. ठीक है. So C part 1 says point P is on the blade. P is on the blade, which is furthest from the center of the blades. Each blade is 30 meters long. ठीक है. Calculate the distance traveled by the blade as it completes one revolution. Okay. Now, so let's say this is the blade right here. ठीक है. Let's say this is the blade, which is 30 meters. Now, what shape will the blade make once it completes one complete revolution? अच्छा y 90 माइनस ही मैं जल्दी से बता देता हूँ, बिकॉज हमने थीटा निकाला था, कितना हमने थीटा निकाला था 31 पॉइंट, या कितना निकाला था 38.5. दिस एंगल वी वर्कड आउट टू बी 38.5, विच इज़ वाई हमने इसको 90 में से माइनस किया. ठीक है. अच्छा, कमिंग बैक नाउ, once the blade completes one revolution, what shape will it make? Circle. Yes, so it's going to make a circle. Okay, so you will get a circle of this sort. Okay, so this is what you will get, and this will be the distance traveled. Okay, so that means if I want to calculate the distance, no, it's not going to make a triangle ascent, it's going to make a circle. Okay, देखो, let's take a second hand of the clock. Okay, so if the second hand of a clock moves a complete revolution, it makes a circle, right? Okay. So what distance do we have to calculate? We have to calculate basically the circumference. Okay, so distance is equals to the circumference. So yeah, so 2 pi और जो radius होगा वो 30 होगा. Let's work this out. 2 pi into 30. So ये आ रहा हमारे पास 188.49, which is going to be 189, correct to 3 significant figures. ठीक है. अच्छा, फिर it says the blade completes 15 revolutions per minute. ठीक है. Calculate the speed of P giving your answer in kilometers per hour. अच्छा, मुझे ये बताओ, if it's doing 15 revolutions per minute, how many revolutions is it going to do in an hour? If it is doing 15 revolutions per minute, how many revolutions is it going to do in an hour? 15 times 60. Very good. Okay, so 15 per minute. ठीक है, इसको times 60 कर दो. So what do you have? 15 into 60 is what, 900? I mean 15 into 6 is, yeah. So that means 900 per hour. ठीक है. Okay, now let's find out the distance this travels, this whatever this is, this travels in 900 revolutions. ठीक है. अच्छा, अब 900 रेवोल्यूशंस में ये कितना डिस्टेंस ट्रैवल करेगा? देखो, एक रेवोल्यूशन पे, ठीक है, एट वन रेवोल्यूशन इट कैलकुलेट्स it moves 189 meters, or it travels 189 meters. In 900 revolutions, it's going to travel x. ठीक है. So 189 into 900, let's work this out. So that means x is equals to 170,100. But remember, this is meters. ठीक है. This is meters per hour. ठीक है. What is this? This is meters per hour. 170,100 meters per hour. ठीक है. अच्छा, अब अगर मुझे इसको किलोमीटर्स में कन्वर्ट करना है, what am I going to do? I'm going to convert meters into kilometers by simply dividing it by 1000. ठीक है. So 170,100 divided by 1000. You guys see how difficult this question is? So what do you get? You get 170.1, and there you go. 170.1 kilometers per hour is the answer. ठीक है, मैं दोबारा से बता देता हूँ. So basically, kilometers per hour में हमें इसकी speed चाहिए. ठीक है, and the blade is moving 15 revolutions per minute. ठीक है. So 15 revolutions per minute means that it's going to move 900. It's going to do 900 revolutions in an hour. Okay. In one revolution, it travels a distance of 189 meters. In 900 revolutions, which is what it does in an hour, it's going to move x meters. Okay, so we worked out the value of x. The answer came out to be in meters, and we converted it into kilometers by dividing it by 1000. ठीक है. अच्छा, part 3, last question. It says a point Q lies on the straight line between P and the center of the blades. Okay, so let's first draw this. So this is the complete circle. Okay, this is the blade. So yeah, this is point P. Oops, sorry. This right here is point P, and this is the center जहाँ पे मैं x mark कर रहा हूँ. ठीक है. Why did I apply speed वाला formula? Well, I didn't apply speed वाला formula because we already had the time. I mean, this was already per hour. ठीक है. Even if you were to apply the speed वाला formula, okay, you would do distance over time. Now time is going to be 1 anyway. Okay. Okay. Now, if you remember, previously we saw that the length of the blade is what? Length of the blade is 30 meters. Okay. Now there is a point P. There is a point Q. Okay. And this point Q, once this point completes one revolution, this travels 90 meters. Okay. अब इसका क्या मतलब हुआ? जब आपका ये point Q एक पूरी revolution करता है, so this travels 90 meters. Okay. So why do you love maths? I like how challenging it is. Okay, I feel accomplished after doing math. Anyway, okay, so question is, okay, what does the question mean when it says Q travels 90 meters as the blade completes one revolution? बताएं ज़रा. ये 90 meters का सवाल कह रहा है, what distance is this? That's what my question is. What is this 90 meters representing? Circumference is 90, yes, the circumference is 90. So that means this blue distance that you're looking at, this is 90, okay? Acha, so 2 pi r is equals to 90, ठीक है? अच्छा, let's work out the radius. Radius हम कैसे निकालेंगे? 90 divided by 2 pi, okay? So r we're looking at r is 14.32 something, okay? अच्छा, फिर अब देखो, what have we done so far? We worked out this length, and this length is what? This length is 14.32. अब if you want PQ के लिए हम क्या करेंगे? PQ के लिए we will do 30 minus 14.32, whatever it is that we've worked out, okay? So 30 minus the answer, that's going to give us PQ, and that is 15.67, and there you go. We'll give our answer correct to 3 significant figures, so that's going to be 15.7. Okay, now I will encourage you guys to solve this question on your own, okay? And that will help you. Okay, if you solve this question on your own, that's definitely going to help you. Okay, and it was a difficult question. Don't get demotivated if you're unable to solve it. Okay, because like I said, it's a difficult question. Acha, I'll repeat the last two parts. Okay, so beta, if you do not stop when the examiner said in mic, I think it's, I mean, unless उसने आपका paper explicitly cancel किया, then you're in hot waters. If they haven't done that, then I think it's fine. Okay, anyway, so in part 2 the question said the blade completes 15 revolutions per minute. Okay, so if it's doing 15 revolution in 1 minute, times it by 60, so that you get 900 per hour. Okay, now this is basically the number of revolutions per hour. Now all you have to do is convert this 900 into the distance. Okay, and that's it. That's going to be your speed. Okay, you don't need to do speed over equals to distance over time. So 900 revolutions कर रहा है, एक revolution में 189 meters travel कर रहा है, 900 में कितना travel करेगा? 900 into 189. Okay, so then what do? You get 170,100. ठीक है, उसको हम divide by 1000 करें, so that we can do it in kilometers, and there you go. That's it. That's your speed. अच्छा, फिर the question says that there is a point Q on the blade. Okay, and that when that point moves a full circle, it travels 90 meters. That means 90 is the circumference of this circle that I made over here. So 2 pi r is equals to 90. We worked out the radius. This gave us the distance from the center to Q. Okay, and then we subtracted that from 30. So we got PQ is equals to 15.67. Okay, I've re-explained it, Uspandyar. Hopefully that will help. Any chances of question like this coming in the exam? I'm in no position to say that. Okay, let's hope it doesn't. Okay. Yes, this question did require a lot of brainstorming, Hussein. Okay, if the examiner didn't do anything, then I think you're lucky. Hopefully नहीं होगा आपका paper cancel. ठीक है, don't have to worry about that. ठीक है. चलें, so I'm gonna stop here. ठीक है. I will inshallah see you guys tomorrow. कल हम देखते हैं, मैं Instagram पे post करूँगा कि कल क्या stream करना है. Let me know by then, and we'll stream something accordingly. Okay, so hopefully after the stream you'll find trigonometry easier. I will encourage you guys to practice these questions that I haven't solved. Okay, और मैंने इसके साथ, like I said, I've attached notes also, so you can use the notes and you can print them out, whatever it is. Today's ad math stream isn't uploaded? Is that true? अच्छा मैं अभी चेक कर लेता हूँ, ठीक है, अभी मैं चेक कर लेता हूँ and I'll see whether it's uploaded or not. ठीक है, चलें. Okay guys, take care. See you inshallah tomorrow. Allah Hafiz.